Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Town Talk Tampa Bay. I'm your host, Sharon Preston Folta, and this morning we are speaking to the candidates. And today it's Mark Oliver. He is running for Florida House District 70, and we want to know all about Mark and why he feels he's the best person for the job. Good morning, Mark. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you for having me, Sharon.
Oh, our pleasure. So happy that you're here. So, before we get started, Mark, I want to ask, how are you and your family during this pandemic?
Thanks for asking. It is an unfortunate time for everybody. However, we're lucky, we're healthy. Um, I still have my job running my business. So I'm out here just trying to emphasize how important it is to wear masks to other people and
Hmm.
checking in on our community. So right now we're in a blessed situation. Everybody in my family is healthy. Nobody in our family has got COVID. So we're continuously blessed, and so that is a huge positive.
And along with what's going on with the pandemic, the murder of George Floyd has just sparked, um, everyone. It's just sparked a chord in everyone to just speak up and just say enough. So, on your end, what are you seeing, and how has that affected you as well?
Yeah, and I feel it's important that we talk about this on every segment because this is what's going on in the world right now. And since the George Floyd's death, we've seen change. We see changes coming, but we've got to still continuously make sure that we show up to the polls. We're seeing protests are still going on, and we're showing now that we want unity. And one thing that I emphasize to everybody out here who are at the protests and who are out there, still continuously fighting, that we stay committed to this. After all of this, that we get involved with our local Boys and Girls Club, we get involved with the NAACP. It's important that we continue this momentum that we have going on if we want the equal representation that we're fighting for.
Right, and what's important and what I'm seeing is that it's uprising from all groups, young, old, all different races and nationalities. People are just saying, enough is enough. And you're right, getting involved with local organizations that are fighting for change, that have been fighting for change for years, and using your power to vote. So for you, that's extremely important because you're running against three other candidates in this House race. So tell us a little bit about you. I know you're an entrepreneur, you own your own business, and it's not only a fitness business, but it's a unique type of fitness business. So tell us the name and your mission.
Yeah, so for everybody listening, if you don't know my story, who I am, I'd love to tell you why I decided to run for office. I feel like it's very important. It's the most asked question from any candidate. You want to see what their intentions are. And for me, I tell everybody off the bat, I never dreamed of being a politician. I never dreamed of running for office. However, 2 years ago, my life changed. I was personal training a client in my gym. I owned a gym, and I met this young kid who had Down syndrome. And I volunteered to train this young kid. His name was Andrew. And little did I know, Andrew would become my best friend. He lost 40 pounds in a month. He got on a bike for the first time in his life. And more importantly, his psychological side changed. I then got involved with the Special Olympics, and I built the largest Special Olympics team, one of the largest Special Olympics team in Hillsborough County history. I then went on to start 9 special needs schools and work with 400 individuals with disabilities, with a full-time staff of 20. However, it really took me working with Andrew to see what we can do. We're going to give it an opportunity to see how much we can grow. And it brought me back to my life because my mom had me at the age of 14. I was the first in my family to go to a university. I played football at USF. And now I run a business. I own multiple real estate properties. And I wouldn't be here today without standing on the shoulders of men, women from all different walks of life without their support. So I decided to run because we have opportunities right here in our state to do so much. And I wanted to provide opportunities for our community. So that's why I jumped into this race. And that's why I'm running for our state legislature.
And what sets you apart from the other candidates? What do
Great.
you feel? What do you feel?
Yes, so we know I'm running as a Democrat. We know in the state legislature there's more Republicans, a lot more than Democrats, right? So a lot of people say we can't get jobs done. What sets me apart is my relationship to get things done. You have to be able to work alongside of people from all different walks of life. I've been a sports captain on every team I was on. And to win any championship, you have to be able to work with people that come from different backgrounds. So my ability to work with people from all different walks of life, to network, to build relationships, to make sure we can bring money back to our district. When it comes to hard work, I've been doing that my entire life. I've always been an underdog, but I've always found a way to get over top and make sure we get the job done. So that's what sets me apart. My willingness to work hard, my willingness to network, build relationships, because that's the only way you get bills passed up in Tallahassee.
Gotcha. Well, you will definitely be on the younger side should you win in the House. Um, and you are an entrepreneur, you own your own business. So can we ask, how old are you?
Yeah, of course. So just recently turned 28 years old.
Wow.
I am the youngest on the ballot. That is correct. And right now, people want that, right? We see so much things going on. They want new voices in Tallahassee. We want young voices in Tallahassee because times are changing. And, we got to get things are trending, right? A lot of things are on Instagram, right? Facebook's kind of going away in a way. It's still there, though. There's this TikTok things too. And these are where a lot of people are getting their outlets from. And so times are changing. We want new voices, but we still not saying only young voices in Tallahassee because we still have to rely on people that have been there and experience. But we need new energy. We need new excitement. And one thing I tell a lot of young people, because I was in their same boat, I used to think politics did nothing for me. So why would I get involved? I used to think politics was all dirty. It's never going to help me. It's never going to help my family. And a lot of people felt that way. And so I put this out there. I didn't even become a registered voter or any of that until pretty recently. And because what has politics done for me, right? So we go out here, and it really took me working with this special needs community to see how overlooked we are and to see how everything comes back to politics. So I got involved and I dove right in. And I dove into the running for the state legislature. But that makes me relatable, because a lot of people out here think that. They think their voice isn't heard. They think their voice doesn't matter. But in reality, it does. So I love sharing that story because, yes, I wish I would have got involved earlier. Yes, I wish I could have, but you can't change the past, right? And there's a lot
Right.
of people that can relate to this. And I share that story with them. And I register voters all the time once I tell them that. Like, wow. And it's something they enjoy and they relate to. And so, yes, we got to get young people out and getting them to the polls. And I think this year, this election, we're going to see this now more than ever.
And you feel that, I hear you and being in your age group and really in tune with today's media, that gives you somewhat of an advantage with the younger group. So you're able to get out there through social media. Is that one of the tools that you're really using to get your message out?
Oh, yeah. In this day and age, you got to use social media. And almost anything you want is free, right? You can't beat it. It's free. It's a free way to get your message out. But yeah, that's a great thing. We're using social media heavily. We have a lot of young volunteers. A lot of students from the University of South Florida, actually where I played football at. So if we have any Bulls listening or watching, go Bulls. We have a lot of volunteers from there because they're excited. They want to see something like this. They want to see change. They haven't seen many young people run for office. And for one of the reasons why, I could tell you firsthand, we talk about we want to get young people to run. We want to get more young people involved. But when we do get involved and when we do want to try, firsthand, the people that cut you down are the people that are much older than us, that are our parents' age, maybe our grandparents' age, and they say you're too young to run for office. Wait your time, be an aide, go get more experience. But if we continuously do that, how are we ever going to get ready? How are we going to get our time to get in there? We're just going to keep waiting and waiting. So I said, no, I'm going to dive in and I'm going to do this not only for my generation, but for my future generation as well.
As a young man, you are bringing fresh ideas, and I know that your priorities are in education, healthcare, and the environment. So tell me about some of your ideas. Let's start with education. And you know that your district is one of these unique areas that encompasses Hillsborough all the way down to Sarasota. Each of those communities has some unique differences, and of course, there's similarities and something that unifies everyone. But for each one, there are some differences. And how do you plan to make the changes that will uh, go across your district and unify your district?
So I think,
So in education.
okay, yeah. So I think education, regardless of district, I know we have a huge issue in our entire state of Florida. Whether
Mhm.
each district from Miami would come down here to St. Pete, there's an issue. And the issue is funding. We're not getting enough funding for our public school education. And one of the things I want to propose is to bring $1 billion back to our public schools. I want to be able to invest to make sure, we just passed where our teachers can get paid more, but I want to start them at $50,000 salary. I want to invest over $20 million into vocational training. We know college isn't for everybody. I was fortunate enough to play sports in college, but if it wasn't for that, college it probably wouldn't have been for me, right? So I want to invest in so our people are getting careers. So when they're leaving high school, they're not out searching for jobs, and I want them to have careers lined up. So I want to invest in a program such as apprentice programs, carpentry, plumbing, electrician. There's so many vocational trades that you can come out making six figures without a college degree, and you can have a career and build a business. I would like to invest more into our schools, to teach them how to open your own business, to teach them how to manage a business. These are skill sets that I didn't have. I had to take losses on, and to provide trades, so we can line our community up for careers. Also want to focus on early childhood education, investing more money into there. My family just recently adopted a 3 and a 4-year-old, and they're a little bit further behind. And we know how important it is to reach them before they get into kindergarten, how important that early childhood education is. So investing money into there.
And how about healthcare in your district? You know, what differences will you make in healthcare for all of your residents?
Yeah, definitely like tie that back into housing too. And when it comes to healthcare, I think the simplest way to say it is, healthcare is not a privilege; it's a human right. And I work with a community, the disabled community, and we have a healthcare scare every day. And I'm sure everybody on here listening and watching will have has had a healthcare scare. And it should be accessible to every Floridian across our state.
So, how can it be more accessible in our district with more clinics or better health insurance? Um, what would be the thing that would make it more accessible for us?
Well, number one, I'm big for Medicare for all. Every Floridian should have health care regardless of your income, regardless of how much, regardless of where you are. So that's number one, and we can do that here in our state.
Okay. And you mentioned the disabled and healthcare. So that also ties back to education. Are there special programs that you would do for the disabled? Do you feel that there's been enough being done right now?
Well, we just recently got a little increase from the governor. However, yes, we are still ranked 50th in the nation when it comes to the special needs community. 50th in the nation. And every year, too, during legislation, they try to cut our funding more and more. I would like to fill and bring more money back to the Med Waiver, to the iBudget program, where these individuals are getting their services. This is a community that's been overlooked forever. If you look back just not too long ago, they're institutionalized. They didn't know what to do with them. We need a voice in the legislature who's going to advocate for this community when bills are passed, that the disabled community is not overlooked, where we can make sure police officers are trained to know where on the differences between autism and someone who is just out being wrong in the streets, so they don't take a shot at them. That's my biggest fear. And that's why I've been endorsed by the Florida Democratic Disability Caucus, because they need that voice up in Tallahassee, and this is their life on the line.
And you mentioned, policing, and in that vein, how people are being approached and handled, or maybe mishandled in a way where they're not being understood for the disability that they have. So, with policing, do you feel that it's better to train the police department to handle special needs, or do you feel that a special needs department or a separate department needs to partner with the police to handle people with special needs?
I love that question. So yes, I think it obviously has to be a separate partner coming in. I have to do training for this community, and such as when it comes to knowing their behaviors and takedowns. There's always experts in each field. So I believe someone should come in there, train them how we can handle in these situations. I know they do some trainings early on in their academy, especially I know they do that down in St. Petersburg. However, I think it should be ongoing, continuous. Just like I have to do continuous training for this community.
Right.
So today.
No, absolutely. And but also, as far as putting money back into the system for people with special needs, uh, would that include hiring more teachers, creating more facilities? How can they best be helped, or even at home? Opportunities to help people manage people with disabilities in their home.
Great. Yeah. So quick summary on how this community works. There's something called the Med Waiver, or they may call it the iBudget, APD. And these individuals have to get on this waiver in order to get funding from the state. So in order to have a behavior analyst come to their house, in order to have somebody take them out to the community, in order to go to a school, right? Just because you're 30 years old, but you have a 10-year-old mindset, you still have to be taken care of. And a lot of the time to get on this Med Waiver, it is almost a 10-year wait list. Unless you're a crisis situation, which is hard to get on. A 10-year wait list that parents are trying to get services for their children. And granted, you make a mistake, you're just going to keep adding time. And granted, if your coordinator makes a mistake, you might lose your services. So I would like to see funding go back in so we can expedite this process. Parents need these services. And a lot of parents, there's a huge need of people who are not on this because of the wait list time. And they don't even know how to do it. And a lot of parents don't even know about the program. So in order to expedite this process, we're going to need more funding. And that's where I would like to see it go.
All right. And, we're in Florida, and a big part of our attraction is our environment, our beaches, our natural areas. So what do you see as a priority to take care of the environment here in Florida?
Oh, when I think environment, the biggest misconception we have, I'm a business guy. I've owned my own business since I've been 20. And the misconception we have is business and environment do not go hand in hand. And growth and environmental friendly people do not go hand in hand. Mm-hmm. But they can, right? And when I think environment, I'm thinking solar And when I think solar, I think careers, 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 not jobs. My business mind comes into here because right now in 2020, solar is hiring more people than the gas, oil, and gas oil companies combined. And they are paying great hourly wages, starting at least $22 an hour. You don't need a college degree, and they're hiring minorities, men, and women from all different walks of life. And solar not only protecting our environment,
Right.
providing our careers for our young people. And so if we can invest more into solar, we're going to invest more into jobs. And this is what I mean. They can go hand in hand. There's so many other ways too, that even another plan that I want to do is invest more into weatherization, right? Where we can go into low income households. We can go into households that need repairs, and we provide insulation for them, and a weatherization program. Not only are they going to save money on their electricity bill because they have insulation in their house, we're also going to protect the environment. So this goes hand in hand. So yes, when it comes to environment, I want to show where business and growth can go hand in hand with the environment and be eco-friendly.
I love that answer. Many people talk about solar and the benefit it is to the environment. And
Mhm.
absolutely, I'm sold on solar, but tying it back to careers and opportunity and tying it into business is, it just really makes so much sense. And it makes so much sense for our future.
Yes.
So I think that's what you're talking about, that young mind thinking, ahead and connecting the dots there. So really, that is fantastic. And I'm sure that that's a message that's really out there as you're speaking to people. So in this day and age of COVID, how are you campaigning?
So it's different. It's funny because I get asked that, like, how is this different from campaigning before? Well, this is my first time campaigning, and I'm such a people person. I love hanging out with people. I love interacting. I do very well when I'm out speaking in large groups. And right now, that's kind of on pause. So campaigning is a little bit differently. But we got to adapt with the times, right? Just like we have to with anything else, you got to be able to adapt. So social media is taking a big presence. Still out there, handing out masks. I just did a huge mask distribution yesterday. I'm out there still. It's more one-on-one interactions. I'm out here delivering meals almost every other day with Meals on Wheels in our district. So things are different, but you still get virtual interactions. It's made a hindrance on the business a little bit, but there's also opportunities to grow as well. So it's just about adapting and just getting used to it. So if I complain about it and say, "Oh, it's so hard," what is that doing for me? It does
Right.
nothing. So I just look at it as, you know what? We adapt. Let's get rocking and rolling, and let's go.
All right. Well, we got a couple of minutes here. So let us know, why should we vote for you, Mark?
Great. Yes, like I told you before, I'm a person who can get the job done. And everything that I've ever done, you can Google my name, Mark Oliver. You're going to see things back in high school, me volunteering with volunteering with our youth, helping children with cancer, charities. And I've always put the community before myself. And I've been endorsed by the Florida Democratic Disability Caucus. I've been endorsed by our city councilwoman. I've been endorsed by the Stonewall Democrats. I've been endorsed by over 30 NFL football players, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer coaches. And I'm the candidate that's going to bring fun, energy, and excitement to Tallahassee, right? It's been so boring and drawn out over there. We don't see things getting done. Let's change that. And that's why I need your support. I've raised over $45,000 in this race already as our youngest candidate. I haven't had any lists. I haven't done any of that. This is just people who believe in me. It's my cell phone that I call, I pick up, and I'm super accessible. My website is MARK, Florida.com. I'm all over social media. Send me a message. And my personal cell phone number, where I answer it myself, is 727-831-2829. And I'm so glad I'm being on here today. And thank you.
Oh, fantastic. And give us a couple of those social media handles. We want to hear
Oh, you can find me on Instagram, Mark for Florida. You can find me on Facebook, Mark.
them.
You can find me on TikTok. I'm everywhere.
Are you dancing on TikTok? Are you?
So I'm just kidding. I have like one video. I couldn't really figure it out. I tried. But yeah, you
Well,
can follow me
but you're there.
Yes, and my business. I think that's very important that I share that because this is what got me into the race, right? Was my special needs business, and this is who I am. This is my passion. This is something I'm never gonna let go of. It's near and dear to my heart. It's called Specially SPECIALLY Fit Foundation. So speciallyfitfoundation.com is my business website, and that's when the suit comes off. I put on my regular workout clothes and it's just me and the guys and the girls there that we work with. And it's magic. So that's my love. That's my passion. That's my baby. And I advise everybody to check that out.
Well, we will, and we'll continue to check you out, Mark. Thank you so much for spending this time with us on Town Talk Tampa Bay. I'm Sharon Preston Folta. You've been speaking with Mark, listening to Mark Oliver, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you.